Now this is part of what I'd call acclimation. Y'all are going to have a session on acclimation. So the first time I get a chance to interact with cattle, I'm going to do this and get them to where they'll let me control them. You know, that first one kind of ran off. I want to get them to where they'll respond to me and just walk off and not run off. But I'm going to do these cattle just a little bit till I get their flight zone worked down a little. And now, see, I'm already getting a little closer to them than I was a while ago. And the reason I want to do it, by the time I get to that bud box, that's a pretty small, it's a 10 by 20 foot box. I want them to be pretty predictable in their response when I get there. So now I'm getting pretty close to these cattle without them actually moving off. So now I'm going to move to the side and step down them just a little bit. See if old Biggin will take off. Now when he does, I'm going to start kind of going with them this time, and I can slow them down. I can actually stop them if I take another step. So now I can back up, send these cattle forward. By just stepping down their side, I can teach them to leave. Now if I want them to keep walking, I've got to come off to the side. I want them to keep going. They're pretty sticky going that way. And they'll always have one area of a pen that they're a little more comfortable in. But here I just want them to ease off. I'm going to just kind of go with the same speed. I'm not going to try to go up their side this time. That little calf over there, he's got an issue. He's got to peek around everybody to see where things are at. But once again, now they're kind of going down there and stopping straight. They're not turning to look at me, are they? So they're already getting more comfortable just walking off. And if I've got a set of fresh cattle coming off a truck, and I've made 2 passes with them right here, and they're slowly walking from one end of the pen to the other, that's when I can pick up lameness, I can start picking up sickness, and these cattle are responding to my pressure. In 2 passes, I got them where I could start them and stop them, and they'll stand there very quietly. Now this little guy's going to leave pretty fast, so I'm going to try not to let him be the first one. There's 2, yep, I'm late. If he'll stop, that's all right. But just by training them on that little bit, I can get them to where they'll move off a little easier. So they like going this other direction faster than they do coming to this end. So I'll use that to my advantage. I'll try to start another one. We'll just go back to the other end. But I want them to know that I can get up fairly close to them and it not be a big deal. Now this is something else. Notice all these cattle are not facing the same direction. They will not leave until they all face the same direction. And when they do, they'll all take off. So I got to be ready for that when I get them turned around. Because this little calf on this side, if I can send him around, he's going to turn. He may not turn without this one taking off. Now notice as they start to turn, well, you're going to make a liar out of me. But we had to get all but one of them turned before they took off. These big guys are like, why go down there? He's just going to bring us back. But now we've got them where they actually move. We've got 2 of them in here that are a little flightier. And that's always going to be the case. So I want them to get to where they'll stay with the group, and notice they turned around and came back to their buddies. They're not going to want to stay out there as well. Another part of acclimation, I want them to learn to go to any part of this corral. So I'm going to try to take them over to this corner. We've been going back and forth, but right now I just want to be able to send them to that corner. So here I can step on this side, try to keep them from coming this way. I want to be able to send this big black calf around. These are interesting. They let you get pretty close, but then they want to move pretty quick. So here I would like for this calf to come around the front side, and he'll turn all my buddies into the corner. If he's not going to come around, I'll use old big one here. Now this is something else. I want to get these cattle where they'll turn away from me. These cows, they will not turn away from me yet because they don't trust me. So this is one of those things as well I'm going to work on until I can get one of them to turn their butt to me and turn away from me. This one may leave or this one, I'm not sure which. And I'm not wanting them to turn away from me just yet. I'm just wanting them to let me get them to move. Okay. Now notice I'm making a little bit of weaving motion here, and that gets these cattle to move away from me and back off to where I've got a little more space. Without them actually turning, I can back one of them up, and then perhaps I can turn him. There we go. All right, so there's a lot of things we can do just with body motion to get these cattle to really respond to us. And I haven't yet got him to the corner. And this little one, he wants to squirt bad, but he don't want to leave his buddy. So I'm just going to try to back him up into that corner. This may look crazy, but it's amazing how well this works. Now, because they won't take their eye off of me yet, I'm using that technique to back them up to where I need them to go. Then I'm going to take pressure off of them. If they'll get in that corner, I'll take the pressure off. They've not done it like I want them to, but they're in the corner, okay? So that's my first objective, is to just get them to go where I want them to go. They're all still facing me. They're not really wanting to stay in that corner. And when they come out, they're probably going to come out pretty quick if I'm not careful. So I'm just going to try to go to this corner. And these are little things, and cattle first get off a truck. This little guy's not going to take that. And once they come around, I don't know that I'm going to have a whole lot of control on them. Y'all are interesting. But I'm within 5 feet of them and they're not running off. So I'm gaining on it. So I gotta take my wins as I get them. Okay? If I can get one of these big ones to turn, I'll do that. Now I'd like to send him up in that corner. And I may be trying this a little too quick. If I am, I'll let him work a little bit more. But old Bigot, if I'll step to him. And I'm putting all my pressure on an eye. Now here I'm gonna try to turn this calf back toward his buddy. This is a place where I've got a chance to train him. He may go past, but let's see. Oh, he's gonna turn to me. This is interesting. These cattle really do not want to turn away from you. Now, if I get one that wants to run off, here's what I'll do. I'll get over here. When he runs off from his buddies, he's going to get more pressure than he would if he stays with his buddies. So when he goes back, he'll be much less likely to run off the next time, because his safety's over there. So we'll see if that actually helps. So you can do that on some old runoff cows or something along those lines to get them to stay with the herd. You can also do it with a bull that herds cows quite a bit. I'm just going to move him out of this corner. Now this is the same calf that run off a while ago that's come out to the front. Let's see if he does it again, I'll even put more pressure on him, but you stay with your buddies. It's interesting, these others locked down in here. So this is something else. You can get them to where they won't move. And so you have to actually take a little time sometimes to get them to where they'll actually move off pressure. We'll just go a different direction. If they don't want to go that way, I could be hard-headed and keep working on that corner, when in fact I might want to come out and go this other way. If I can get them to respond and go this way, I can probably stop them right on the feed buckets if I need to. Well, I know who my leaders are going to be anyway. Now I want to get them where they kind of a controlled speed here. This old calf, he's ready to get out of here already. But he will draw these others to him. And so I can use him to get some of this done. But if I can keep enough pressure on him, these others should come to him. We'll see if they do. They like staying on that other side. And this whole process of acclimation, if these cattle were gentle, there would be no need to do this, okay? Not to the extent we're doing, but look how easy they're moving off my pressure now. If I can get them to where I can stop them as a group and keep them straight. That's the other thing, I don't want them turning back. I'll go ahead and put some pressure on these, let them know that I do want them to come up in there. If I step in too much, I'll turn the front around. He just can't stand it. He's got to be in front of the pack. Now here's where I may have to start putting a little bigger move on them to get them to move. But this is all right, because I'm trying to get them to where I can take them into that pen and do it very quietly. So all of my draw has been from the front and letting these cattle come to the others. The big cattle act a little different as well. Particularly the biggest one in here, he's got a little different pressure point. Now I'm gonna get them over here where they actually look at that gate in the corner. And I'm gonna go open it, but I want them to be watching what I do. And this is something a lot of people don't worry about. They always get their gates open before they start anything. But if I do this, they at least know the gate's open, they've seen it open. If you're moving cattle from one pasture to another, sometimes they don't even know the gate's open, don't know where you're wanting them to go. So we'll see if they'll pass into there. But now I can come back to them and start them. Now I had to add a little noise just to make them go. Got to get all these turned around and go in the right direction. If I step in here, I may lose my front a little bit. I'm gonna try to squirt. Oh, no, he's gone. He needs to learn to stay with his buddies. When he comes back in, he'll actually help add a little motion to him. Now notice I didn't put as much pressure on him down there because I don't think he can take as much pressure. All right. Now I've got to stay out here a little more. If I step in behind, I am going to be in trouble. I know that already. This one back here, you're going to see, you're really going to make me do it. Wants to leave really bad. We'll get somebody smarter than him to think about this. We're getting some pressure. Now I may have to use that whole backing them up thing in just a minute as well. This is where I'd like to be able to send them around that corner, but I don't know that I can yet. So I probably should have spent a little more time out here. We'll see. So as I step in, I'd like to be able to take this big calf. Once he clears that one, oh, I was a little late. I want this calf to put a little pressure to go around that corner, if he will. There we go. He'll take them back to that side. Whoa, short stuff, whoa, short stuff. All right. Now this is where you could get dogs and hooping and hollering, but I'm trying to teach them to go in that pen, not scare them into that pen. So as I keep putting pressure on them here, the first time I'm going to take much more time to do this than I will have to the next few times. And I'm just going to keep putting that pressure. As soon as one of them commits, I'll be all right. And they'll all go. And this is where if you have somebody else, you could put more pressure on them and they wouldn't run off. But right now, they can think their way through it. We're getting them pretty close. Now I've got these that can bump up from behind, put enough pressure to make the first one step. This little calf really wants to run off. So I'll let him run inside instead of outside. And now here's where I can work from this side to turn these in there. Come on, biggin. He don't like working away from it either. He wants to come down the fence rather than go in the pen. There we go. But being able to do that and take the time to just position them and let them take themselves in there, that helps. It helps in the long run. The other thing about it is once you do that, if you can, particularly if you're keeping replacement heifers or something like that back, hopefully yours aren't this skittish by the time you get them weaned, but if they are, put them in a pen, let them relax a little bit and realize that's not going to be a big issue. And then we can actually talk about bringing them out. And the first time I'm going to bring them out, I'm going to do it from outside because getting in there with them is going to put more pressure on them. So I'm just going to step to them and get them to go back the other way and come out of that pen. Because I don't want them to feel that much pressure in the pen or they're not going to want to go back in it the next time. All right. Now, we're doing this as a clinic today, and if you were at home and had cattle either in the pasture or in a feedlot, you could do a little bit of this one day and a little bit more the next day. Anytime you work with them or move them from pen to pen, you've got a chance to change how they respond to you. And so you don't have to stack all that. In fact, sometimes these clinics are not really good for the cattle because we put too much on them too quick. We'll see how this works. But now they're getting where I can kind of get up here and send them where I want to, and I've got a little bit of control on them. It may not take here, we'll just see. But since going in that pen this time was not a big deal, let's see if we can just go back into it. So we've got the whole process to do over again. This little guy may run off. He likes to run off too. These little ones are getting where they can't take quite as much pressure. So I kind of have to turn them back under, in behind some of these. They're getting funny, actually. They're looking for an out. They know what's down there. And this little dude, he's gonna stay there just in time till I get out of position, and then he's gonna take off. But I gotta get these turned or nothing's gonna happen. So if they take off, I'll just have to bring them back. Now I'm going to try to bring him back around this side and in behind those cattle. So he can help create some movement into the herd. Just like that. Now I'm in a position, hopefully, to send them over to that corner a little better. Notice I'm having to put a little more pressure on them to get them to go over there, but that's all right too. Because now they'll actually do what I'm asking in a fairly quiet fashion. All right. Now I feel like I've got them to where they will let me get in there with them. And notice as I do it this way, and it's their idea to go in here, they're not turning around trying to run back out of the pen. And so I'm going to just take a little bit of time with them in here. And particularly if you, like I said, replacement heifers or something like that, I want to spend the time to get them trained to do what I need them to do when I have them at home. And I'm going to have them for a lifetime, or even if you're marketing these cattle to somebody else, one of the main factors everybody's looking for right now in replacement cattle is disposition. So if I can create a good disposition in these cattle when they come to look at them, I can get more for them. And once again, I don't want them to get too stressed out about that corner because we're going to have to use it.